Hello, I'm Mark Ellis, Barnstable Town Manager, and this is my Town Manager communication for the period of June 4th through June 24th. Town Council commenced public hearings on the proposed FY26 operating budget that shall continue on June 26th. Coming up this Thursday. Proposed fiscal year 2026 operating budget is available on our town website, and printed copies have been provided to our town council. Preliminary tax bills for FY 2026 will be mailed out at the end of June. Due dates for the first and second bill are August 1st, 2025 and November 3rd, 2025. The town's lockbox provider for the processing of tax payments has changed their mailing address. An insert will be provided with the tax bills informing taxpayers of the new address to mail payments. With tax title reform taking effect on November 1st, 2024, one of the significant changes was the issuance of demand bills. Demand bills fall under Mass General Law, Chapter 60, Section 16, are in place to incentivize payment of past due bills. It also reduces the burden of interest accrual of 14% for past due real estate taxes with prompt payment. The town's current demand fee is $15 and in line with many other communities. The new legislation requires demand bills to go out with an insert, which I've attached and you can find on our website along with this update, that provide taxpayers with the notice of demand in addition to the bill. The notice is in the 7 most common languages in the state and provides a high level of guidance to pay the bill and is required as part of the tax-taking process. Both the assessors and tax offices are aware of these changes and will work with residents and taxpayers if they have any questions. Just an update that the town has received an initial payment from 3M Company for the PFAS settlement in the amount of $763,000. These funds cannot be expended without appropriation, and we're proposing to appropriate these funds to offset the additional funding for the new straightway water facility requested to Town Council in Order 2025-194. Shifting gears a little bit here, the Recreation Division has processed over 20,000 residential parking permits to date, a record. We are currently up to date with applications and encourage all residents to apply as soon as they can to avoid potential delays. Beach parking permit applications can be filled out online, mailed in, and dropped off at the Hyannis Youth and Community Center, Bassett Lane in Hyannis. And if you need assistance, you can call our parking permit hotline at 508-790-6345, extension 145. On Saturday, June 21st, the town of Barnstable's beaches, ponds, and lakes officially open for the season and will be operational 7 days a week through Labor Day. All beaches will be open daily from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., meaning the gates will be physically open. Similar to last season, we're experiencing significant lifeguard shortages again this summer, which will impact our ability to have lifeguard coverage at all 13 locations. Currently, we have full staff, including lifeguards, at the following locations: Gregville Beach, Dowses Beach, Colville's Beach, Calmus Beach, Veterans Beach, Loops Beach, and Sandy Neck. To assist the public with plans, we will continue to communicate our staffing operations through our My Barnstable app as needed. Ensuring public safety is our top priority, but please be advised that some sites may not have lifeguard coverage, and swimmers will do so at their own risk. The quarterly meeting of the Cape and Islands Bridge Coalition was held on June 3rd, 2025. A link to the full meeting slide deck and several action items are provided. So within this letter, you can actually click on and under meeting slides, and you can see it's almost a 50+ slide presentation giving an update on all aspects of where the state and we are collectively on seeing these projects move forward. The chamber has successfully secured an earmark in the Senate budget to support the Cape and Islands Bridge Coalition work, and the chamber requested that all members consider sending a letter of support to the conference committee. So they provided us a draft, and I've put together and sent a letter of support so we can keep this effort going. More practically, on the utility public comment site, the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission is accepting public comment on the bridge-related utility relocation. To subscribe to updates on the project or to submit a comment, you can visit that Federal Energy Regulatory Commission online portal, and there's a little link there that you can click into. You got to enter the docket number, and you can also find instructions through the link that I've provided in this communication. And finally, the Cape Cod Commission is planning to host a stakeholder group meeting, date to be determined, to discuss possibly forming a transportation management association to be in support of this general effort of moving forward with both bridge projects. More to come on that. I'll also share that the Affordable Housing and Economic Development Trust Fund has a vacancy. It's a 5-member committee. The town manager, assistant town manager, finance director serve on it, as well as a member of the public that really focuses with a background on housing, and then a member of the public who focuses on economic development serve. The economic development seat is open. We're encouraging people to apply. I'll probably keep it open through July, and then see who's applied and take it under review, and hopefully select a person to replace the vacant seat by the end of the summer or sooner. And this is a town manager appointment, but does require town council to authorize me to do so, ratify it basically. So that concludes my town manager's update. And now we have both Kate Maldonado, our senior planner from planning, and Kelly Colopy from our Public Works Department to provide updates on relevant projects. Thank you.
Kate Maldonado, Senior Planner, Planning and Development. On Thursday, June 26th, the Town Council will have on the agenda for first read a proposed amendment to the Town Code, which would amend Chapter 184, Sewers and Water, to add a new article that would establish a land use control for flow-neutral wastewater management in coordination with the town's 30-year comprehensive wastewater management plan. The objective of the amendment is to allow the town to be eligible for a loan of financial assistance from the state revolving fund, with a more favorable interest rate equal to 0% for eligible sewer projects. Establishing the land use control would allow the town to be eligible for loans and financial assistance for water pollution abatement projects to remediate or prevent nutrient enrichment of a surface water body or a source of water supply in order to comply with effluent limitations or to comply with an EPA-approved total maximum daily load, also known as TMDL. The goal of the land use control is to demonstrate that the overall wastewater flow in the Seward watershed will not increase as a result of the project for which a zero rate of interest is sought. The proposed ordinance will be reviewed or has been reviewed by the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection. Additionally, on Thursday, June 26th, the Local Comprehensive Planning Committee will present the draft Local Comprehensive Plan to the Town Council for a first read. The Local Comprehensive Plan is a long-term vision and growth policy that will guide Barnstable's future over the next 10 years with topic and location-specific goals and actions. The LCP was coordinated through a collaborative public process that identified a community vision, defined key issues and opportunities, and developed actionable items. The draft plan is accessible for review from the project website, barnstablelcp.com, via the Document Library tab.
Hello, Kelly Colby from the Department of Public Works, and I will be walking you through our Water Resources Management Update. First, we will take a look at the current status of the town's watershed permit. We are pleased to share that our watershed permit has advanced to the public notice public comment phase. We have a draft permit that is available for public comment, and the public notice was issued on June 11th of this year, 2025. That public notice was published through the MEPA office's regulatory publication, the Environmental Monitor. Public comments are due within 60 days of the public notice going live, so August 11th, 2025 would be the deadline to submit, and must be submitted directly to Mass DEP. We have a Water Resources Environmental Analyst, Maggie Leary, who is assigned to our permit application. All of those comments can be submitted directly to Maggie, and her email is provided in both the public notice as well as this presentation. A copy of the public notice with directions to access the draft watershed permit is available in English, Spanish, and Portuguese on the Barnstable Water Resources at the link provided in this report. Should a favorable determination be made, the town of Barnstable would be the first community in the Commonwealth to receive a watershed permit under the new 2023 regulations. That would be the watershed permit regulations that were released in July of 2023 alongside the amended Title V regulations. So this is really a fantastic step forward and a step closer to hopefully a final watershed permit being issued to the town of Barnstable. Additional regulatory compliance updates for our comprehensive wastewater management plan include the process of our 5-year adaptive management plan update. A draft narrative is in progress with a lot of collaboration from various departments, including planning and development and the finance department. And our comprehensive wastewater management plan ad hoc committee continues to meet monthly. Our next ad hoc committee meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, July 15th at 6 o'clock. And as a reminder, meeting resources, agendas, and recordings are all available at barnstableresources.com/ad hoc committee. Additionally, in tandem, we are working through our fiscal year 25 CWMP annual report. We are currently working through the narrative as well as the data compilation, all of which is in process with, again, collaboration from various town departments. A final report will be shared with town leadership and published for public viewing on Barnstable Water Resources via our Reports and Documents tab. That final report will also be shared with the Cape Cod Commission. As a reminder, this is a requirement for us to submit a CWMP annual report each year in accordance with our 208 plan consistency determination. Our annual water quality data, both our embayment monitoring data as well as our freshwater ponds and lakes water quality data, is provided to the Commission under separate cover and is aggregated within the Commission's Cape Cod Water Quality Data Portal. It's really a fantastic portal, very user-friendly, where you can dive into each individual Sentinel station on the embayment monitoring side, as well as various ponds and lakes on the freshwater side. And we have quite a few resources and links where you can access that portal on the Barnstable Water Resources website, as well as going directly to the Cape Cod Commission. Now, being that we are coming to the close of this fiscal year, I wanted to take a moment to take a step back and look at everything that we've accomplished over the last essentially 12 months from July 2024 through June of this year, 2025. To date, this fiscal year, I should say, we have 48% of our sewer connections are now complete. So this is taking a look at the total number of sewer connections available. as a result of our first 2 sewer expansion projects being completed on time and on budget. So a total of 308 properties are eligible for sewer connection, 149 of which have been completed. So 48% connection rate, which is, really fantastic when you think about the fact that we have had these connections become available in waves over the last year. We're continuing to see connections be scheduled with various contractors across town as we speak. Additionally, this fiscal year, 4 CWMP projects have been publicly put out to bid, 3 of which were construction contracts for Route 28 West, the nitrogen removal and headworks upgrades at our wastewater pollution treatment facility, the 268 Stevens Street sewer pump station construction contract, as well as a design RFP for the Finney's Lane neighborhoods. And this fiscal year alone, Town Council has been incredibly supportive in helping to appropriate over $66 million of funds to support various CWMP projects going into next fiscal year. And I would be remiss to not share that we did also receive an EPA community grant for just under $1 million, which is available funds to help offset costs for our Centerville Village North Phase construction, which is currently in progress. Now, with that said, I also want to take a look at some of the communications and outreach that we've achieved this year. One thing I will note is as we're going through these presentation slides, you've probably noticed a different look and feel. We have been making upgrades to the Barnstable Water Resources website, including a slightly revised and updated logo. With that, we have made quite a number of site improvements, including adding a dedicated newsroom, a beach status updates page, which just makes it much easier to see our water quality reports, both on the cyanobacteria side, as well as any potential E. coli reports. So this is beach water quality. We also have added an about page, a subscribe page, and a connect with us page to make it easier for folks to request things like presentations, subscribe to our water resources newsletter, and really just learn more about the purpose of the Barnstable Water Resources website. Most importantly, we've built out a really robust water quality monitoring section, which we'll take a look at later in this presentation. We've broken out content for both the embayment monitoring as well as our freshwater ponds and lakes monitoring. And we've also enhanced our glossary and updated our video library, all of which is really in an effort to provide folks in our community with a one-stop shop to learn about all things water, not just the CWMP, but also all of our water quality monitoring initiatives, the various projects happening at our ponds and lakes, and soon additional content on our drinking water supply. With that said, we've hosted over 60 plus community meetings, anything from homeowners and civic association meetings to our ongoing water resources workshop with the Barnstable Adult Community Center. We now have over 2,400 water resources subscribers who are plugged in and accepting push notifications both on our website as well as through our email newsletter. And this year alone, this fiscal year, we've had over 38,000 hits to the Barnstable Water Resources website, which is 3 times the number we had last year. And I really attribute to the additional content, including what you'll see here in the middle of your screen, our new public-facing CWMP project map. This was truly a labor of love and collaboration with our town's IT department and GIS coordinator. And it really is a fantastic asset for our community to now be able to look up their individual properties and be able to pull in specific project information. So you're still able to access that information on the assessor's database, but if you'd like a more in-depth look at where your potential property falls in the CWMP, you can now see our phasing map as well as our phase 1 project map in relation to your individual property. So really a great tool that we're so excited to have available for the community. Next, we'll shift gears and look a little deeper at some of our active sewer expansion projects. The first being the Centerville Village Sewer Expansion North Phase. As previously reported, this project is in construction with our substantial completion anticipated the spring of 2027, not this spring, that would be wishful thinking, spring of 2027. Work is currently paused for the summer season. The contractor has demobilized from the project route, has done a nice job cleaning up and just essentially making the area look as great as it can after going through a pretty extensive construction season. We do anticipate that activity will start right back up following the Labor Day holiday. And as we prepare for the fall construction season, we of course will share all of our construction updates, including media releases, Barnstable e-news, and My Barnstable app and social media notifications in accordance with the fall construction schedule. The contractor does also anticipate having 2 crews available for the fall construction season, so work will continue on Chute Flying Hill Road, and they also plan to initiate work within the vicinity of Mothers Park. So more to come, but a nice reprieve right now for the summer season. Looking at the south phase of our Centerville Village Sewer Expansion Project, this project is currently in the design phase, so I should update that status. I'll make sure we do that before we send out these slides. Status is actually in design with construction anticipated for the fall of 2026. So we'll need to update this slide for you. We anticipate the 90% design plans to be completed this summer. So we're making great progress with the design. And as a reminder, $16 million in construction funds were appropriated this past April by our town council. This project is listed for the full financing option through the state revolving fund. And in order to remain eligible for principal subsidy, we do need to award a construction contract by June 30th of 2026. So ultimately that is the next milestone we're working towards with this south phase, is completing the design and ultimately awarding a construction contract by the summer of 2026, lining us up nicely for the anticipated construction in the fall of 2026. So the Route 28 West Sewer Expansion Project, this project is currently in procurement, so out to bid. So this is where we'll update this slide as well. It looked like we had a carryover from the previous slide, with anticipated construction expected this coming fall. Our public bid submissions are actually due this week on June 25th, which means that those bids will be opened, the low bidders will be reviewed, all applications will be reviewed, and essentially we'll look to further investigate the low bidder and work our way through potentially awarding that construction contract. This project is crucial for us. As you may recall, it was the number 1 project listed the number 3 project listed in the fiscal year 2024 state revolving fund intended use plan, and is essentially vital to allowing us to install the backbone of our sewer program and really get us out westward, heading towards the 3 bays embayment, the 3 bays estuary, which is our most highly impaired embayment. So the public outreach process for this project did begin this past January with our first public information meeting geared towards the status of design, hosted in February. A recording of that public meeting is available on barnstablewaterresources.com through the link provided in this presentation, as well as for streaming through Barnstable's government access and the town's YouTube channel. We do anticipate scheduling our next public information meeting, which would essentially look at the construction sequencing and construction schedule, as well as coordinating our certified mail project notifications to all property owners once this contract has been awarded. So that's really coming in the next couple of weeks. Additional sewer expansion projects that are in design currently, we have quite a few of them. This list really hasn't changed since our last report, but what I will highlight are a couple of notes. Specifically with the Finney's Lane Neighborhoods project, we do anticipate our next round of private road utility easement takings to be presented to Town Council this coming fall for a first read, and then ultimately a second read or a vote. This is a process we've followed to take those utility easements over private roadways, which allows us to essentially install sewer on those private roads. Additionally, another important update that I would like to point out would be with the Great Marsh Road, Chute Flying Hill Road Neighborhoods project. That sewer preliminary design has advanced to 30%, as has the Old Yarmouth Road project advancing internally to the 30% sewer design. So we continue to make great headway with our various projects that are in design, and look forward to presenting to a number of homeowners and civic groups this summer during their annual meetings on the status of these projects and how the designs are shaping up. Now we'll take a look at the water pollution control facility. The major update here is our nitrogen removal and headworks improvements project. That project is currently with procurement. Public bid submissions are due by July 8th. So that again would be the close date for all public submissions for this construction project, which will have us on target with a anticipated fall construction timeframe. We are anticipating actually awarding that bid late summer. So again, more information will be forthcoming once we've awarded that construction project. But we are looking forward to breaking ground on what will be really truly the next generation of wastewater treatment here in Barnstable. Additionally, our effluent disposal evaluation is ongoing. We continue to host monthly meetings with Mass DEP as we work through our water reuse and disposal alternatives analysis. And then looking at the Bierces Way sewer extension and vacuum sewer removal project, that project is under construction, but like our other sewer projects in town, work has been essentially postponed for the summer season to, in adherence with our summer moratorium. And we anticipate remobilizing, or the contractor remobilizing this fall following the Labor Day holiday. Looking at water supply in our Hyannis water system, Town Manager Ells mentioned the Straightway and Hyannisport Water Treatment Facilities Improvement Project. This project we are preparing to award the construction contract with construction anticipated for this fall. But as you will see, we do have a supplemental appropriation order on the docket for Town Council with a first read this week, June 26, 2025. Additional information and project materials can be found on the Town of Barnstable website. If you navigate over to the Department of Public Works, Water Supply, their various project pages. And we are also incorporating a new project page on the Barnstable Water Resources website. So as I had mentioned earlier in this presentation, we are really looking to make Barnstable Water Resources a one-stop shop for all water resource and water quality information. So we anticipate publishing that project page on Barnstable Water Resources as well later this week. And with that said, we recently hosted a public information meeting on Wednesday, June 18th regarding PFAS and the Hyannis water supply, challenges and solutions. This discussion was led by James Begley of MT Environmental Restoration. He's a licensed site professional here in Massachusetts, and it was really part of the town's technical assistant grant program, which we were awarded. Presenters included representatives from Barnstable County, the Cape Cod Gateway Airport, and Silent Spring. The meeting was recorded and is available for streaming via Barnstable Government Access and on barnstablewaterresources.com. Additional resources from the county, and there are quite a few of them, are available through the county's PFAS mitigation page. I left the link here in my presentation, and you'll be able to find planning documents, status reports, as well as all of the county's recorded meetings, which the town has participated in. So what are the next steps here? The public feedback that we heard at this public meeting really was for the desire for more communication from the town and a dedicated landing place for the various educational materials, project updates, and health resources. So we do have a lot of this information on the water supply page on the Town of Barnstable, but as I've alluded to, we are looking at building out, or we're in the process of building out, a drinking water page or a drinking water section on barnstablewaterresources.com. This will include a PFAS portal with all of the pertinent information related to the Hyannis water system's history of treatment, water quality reports, and more. As well as various links to other resources, including what other water purveyors in town are doing and their water quality reports. So we intend to have those pages live this week, and that will be pushed out in a direct email to all of the attendees from this public meeting, as well as to all of our water resources subscribers, and of course shared through all of our town social media channels and the Barnstable mobile app as appropriate. So we look forward to bringing a more dedicated resource for just really all of the information surrounding PFAS and what the town has done and continues to do moving forward. And lastly, we'll take a look at water quality monitoring. We have two programs currently essentially in process at this point. Cyanobacteria monitoring has been in progress since May, and we will continue to monitor both weekly and monthly various sites up to 38 sites covering our 28 ponds, all freshwater, public and semi-public beaches. And this is really a coordinated effort with Town of Barnstable staff, both Public Works and the Health Department, as well as the program through the Association to Preserve Cape Cod. As a reminder, all advisories, if there are such, are posted to Barnstable Water Resources. We have now that dedicated beach water quality page, as well as our ongoing cyanobacteria monitoring page. And they're also shared through the town's My Barnstable mobile app and town social media, as well as posted physically to the site. Now, with that, we also have on the embayment monitoring side, our estuary side, our embayment monitoring kicks off in July with 7 embayments that are going to be monitored with a number of sentinel stations. Measurements are going to take a look at a number of different factors, including excessive nitrogen loading. And ultimately, this information is a critical baseline for our estuaries and helps us really track what impacts we are making as we implement our CWMP. And as I mentioned earlier in the report, all of that data, both on the freshwater and embayment side, does get shared with the Cape Cod Commission annually for integration in their Cape Cod Water Quality Portal. So where can you learn more about water quality monitoring in Barnstable? I teased this earlier. We've built out a number of additional pages and content on Barnstable Water Resources. So now if you were to navigate over to our water quality monitoring tab, you would have the ability to either select embayment monitoring or freshwater ponds and lakes. On embayment monitoring, we go into great detail about the various factors that we are looking at as we take water sampling, take samples of our water, our collaboration with SMAST, as well as direct links to the Cape Cod Water Quality Data Portal. On the ponds and lakes monitoring side, we break out our 4 major initiatives, everything from the PALS program and our ponds and lakes management program to even information on our freshwater streams and fish passages and culvert projects. And we have very robust drop down of the various projects, both on the ponds and lakes management side, as well as our fish passage and culvert restoration projects. So a lot more information now, just easier to find and updated quite frequently. So a lot of additional exciting updates to come and more content on Barnstable Water Resources as we work through the summer months. That concludes our water resources update. Thank you.